Letitia James, with all the scary, horrible things that she would say, Letitia James is primed and ready for something. She was trying to take him down every moment she could, and yet now the evidence is mounting increasingly against her. I mean, I'll tell you, Tom Homan has no use for Letitia James. He's talked about her being in violation of the law. Let's go to him about a month ago on Fox.
They're all over this. They're all over this. Now they're looking at, impediment charges, looking at who's funding this stuff, right? Because I'm telling you, it's a matter of time. And I hate saying this, but I'm going to say it because I truly believe it's a matter of time before an ICE agent's ambushed and killed. Because we're letting people know we're enforcing.
So that can't happen. We've had some very difficult situations already. And if you have cities and states around the country that are not complying with the law, that are not allowing federal law enforcement to do their job, well, take your pick. I mean, you could go with the Supremacy Clause. You could go with the Commerce Clause. You could go with a whole lot of clauses. I think George Wallace in Alabama had to find this out in 1964 the hard way, right? Because you can send the National Guard in. You've got to protect the citizens of the United States of America. Did you hear that, Letitia James? I'm sorry, honey bunny, but you are going to be facing some significant challenges, as our friend Mike Davis, former attorney for the president, so articulately said. This is like my favorite clip ever on a podcast recently on Benny's show. This was fantastic. And in the spirit of what just went down with all of these documents being released by the DOJ, by one Lindsay Halligan, that really, really paint a negative picture of Letitia James, I want to hear this.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So
he promises, okay? So Letitia, this is not very good for you. Tish, James, because you see, you've been fighting this whole thing. You keep saying that it's just retribution, that he's just upset because you went after him. I mean, he has every right to be upset. And by the way, they're pursuing that in the state of New York because they believe that you violated his federal rights. It should never be a situation where someone is so deliberately targeted like that. But, Bill Pulte over at FHFA, he found some things out that aren't very good for you. And we're going to get to some of this evidence in just a minute. But I first want to start off with Government Exhibit 1 in the 32-page document released just hours ago by one Lindsay Halligan there in Virginia. Because what she's showing you here is a whole bunch of mortgage fraud cases. In other words, this is not unusual to bring a case against somebody for mortgage fraud. If somebody commits mortgage fraud, then yes, they can be prosecuted. And you can actually get prison time for this. So this is a criminal case. I mean, unlike the one that Donald Trump was facing with Letitia James, which was just, a kind of white collar case. This is like full on, if it's proven out, she could go to jail. So this is pretty serious stuff. Let's go back to what they have discovered here. So the DOJ is revealing some insurance forms that were signed by Letitia, claiming that her house was empty 5 months a year. And do you see this here in yellow? I'm going to make it much bigger. So here in yellow, the months unoccupied would include February, July, September, November. Oh, no, forgive me. Those were the months occupied. So it says that the occupancy is by the owner. The residence usage is non-seasonal. This is not good. I mean, this is an insurance document. So now this would, if you think about it, basically corroborate, right, what was going on with the other documentation that we saw. We've seen the mortgages themselves in which she was saying, this is actually a home that I am going to use, like a vacation home, a secondary property, which she listed actually, I guess, as a primary. And then you had the other one that was, well likewise, I guess, registered in the wrong way. So she's facing some challenges. Oh, look at this, Mike Davis, because he put some of this stuff out here. He said in another application, James claimed that the Norfolk house was occupied by a single adult with no children. But she actually knew that the house was occupied by her niece. And the niece's 3 children. Her grandniece. And the 3 children. The grandnieces. I think it was her grandniece. But by the way, that's a whole other story. You should check out. We did a whole chapter on that a couple of weeks ago, because the nieces have their own situations that they're dealing with. Shall we say? I don't know. Sketchy family. I know you can't pick your relatives, okay? So that's neither here nor there. But you're seeing a pattern. You know, the arrests from Walmart. There was another store in there. A couple of stores. One of them was actually avoiding her parole officer that was trying to check in with her out of the Carolinas, and somehow she's hanging out in Tishy's house. Auntie Tishy. Good thing Auntie Tishy makes all that money. Somehow, some way. Apparently, she made like $17,000 extra on this because she saved herself, I should say, $17,000. So actually, she could have made more, because if you put the $17,000 in the market over the course of this, 30-year mortgage, and you assume a 10% rate of return in the S&P 500, well, you're going to be sitting kind of pretty now, aren't you? I mean, especially when you consider compound interest. Oh, Tisha, you knew what you were doing now, didn't you? I think you really did.